Oh, rib. I already did it earlier. Eichenwalde. Okay.
Traveling to Icon ready for battle.
Okay. Let's roll faster. Look at your comp. So you have an Ashe, an Ana, Moira, Zarya, Reinhardt, and Genji. Okay, so with a comp like this, Genji is going to be a lot more, have a lot more of a solo flanker playstyle than if you were playing like a full dive Winston Diva type thing. Not that you would usually see that on this point, but it's just you'll have to alter your playstyle for that type of Genji. Um, Probably a lot more aggressiveness, but like without your team backing you up, because like the only thing that can really back you up is like your Zarya bubble, um, and like you could be following up on Ashe Dynamites, like people that are burning, um, stuff like that, following up on antis. So probably what I would probably be looking to do here a lot is I'd be playing up on this bridge here. I'd be playing on that, and as the enemy walked in from underneath here, going either this way or this way towards the point, you would be dropping down onto either the back line here, or like, waiting for people to drop by and then just like trying to, get up in their face. Alternatively, if you're having like more of a brawl kind of thing, like your Ryan is up here swinging to their Ryan, whatever, and then you don't feel comfortable like dropping on them like that because they have lots of stuns, like they have McCree, Brig, Roadhog type thing, something like that. Which they don't, obviously, because I can see they have the only stun they have on their team is a Roadhog. Um, but if they say they did have like a really stun heavy comp, you'd play more with your team maybe, and then you would still be like dashing into the front line, like you would wait for them to use like one or two stuns, maybe on like your Reiner or something, and then like you would dash into their front line, like right click, dash, melee the tanks, whatever, and then like deflect as you backed up into your team once more. Rinse repeating to like put pressure on the tanks, build your ultimate, and to try and burst down people that are weak inside their team. Um, and then quickly backing up. So that's just a quick uh, overview of like how you should probably be playing in the comp that you're currently playing in. The one kind of thing that happens a lot with Genjis in these kind of comps is they're not comfortable like engaging alone, and they like are waiting for something to happen. Like they just keep sitting back and throwing shurikens and just waiting for something to happen. And like they like want to wait for their tanks to engage when like sometimes you really can't, because like see like right now your Ryan's swinging, you have a shield advantage here, right? So like their Ryan shield is pretty weak right here. Your Ryan has full HP. He was swinging. Um, that was a good deflect on the fire strike you had there. Got you some good old charge. Um, I mean it's fine playing this far back. It's fine, but you do want to go at some point probably. But like starting back here is sort of fine, I guess. It's kind of funny that that flame strike did 100 damage to you and you still deflected it. Okay. So I mean, you're poking here, but like I feel like you should be getting a lot more aggressive. Like at this point, you're kind of like it's almost like why are you playing Genji? At this point, because it's like if you're going to be playing this far back and playing this much of a poke playstyle, you're better off being a hit scan like Kree or Ashe or Widowmaker or something that can actually like get value at this range. Like here what you're doing is like you're tickling and you're getting ult charge, but like you're not really getting that much ult charge, and like you're not doing that much damage. You're not really creating opportunities for your team. You're not distracting the enemy. Like you're not really doing much of anything, to be honest. So like it just seems like if you're going to be playing like this, Genji's not the pick. So I think so right there, like you would dash on the Rhine maybe, like Urana's dead. Okay, so like it's just you've been waiting for things to happen, and like finally something happened, and it's on the wrong side. So like you gotta try to make an opportunity a little bit here. Like you've just kind of been chilling at the same corner, like spamming left clicks for the past minute. So like I think so now your Ryan is backing up because you're down a healer, so that's fine. You'd probably be calling to play the corner here. Um, you might even have to give up a tick because you're down a healer, and you know, you should be communicating to your Moira that, hey, like, you're the only healer right now, play for your life. But probably what I would end up doing here is so like your team's backing up because they lost. So I think you might even have to give a tick, do a fighting retreat here and then back into this room maybe, and then like give up a tick or so, and then like once your Ana's back, respawn, and like you can push in back like with 6. Because like right now it's looking like you're kind of on the back foot. Your Ryan's pretty weak, stuff like that. But okay. That being said, I obviously can't hear the comms in this game, so I don't know if you were calling any of this out. Maybe you were. Okay, so that Ryan is so that Ryan's feeding. That's an easy dash target. You did just see the Roadhog up here on your left, so you see him dash in here or charge in, and then right there you see this Roadhog here throwing his hook, and then this Ryan's over here feeding into the wall here. Um, so right now, the only stun on their team has used his stun. Ryan's feeding, so this is an easy dash on the Ryan, and then after the Ryan, probably go up on the Roadhog because he's clearly alone up there. I know really, usually you wouldn't want to just 1v1 a Roadhog, right? Because hook is scary. But when he's up on high ground like this, it's really easy for Genji to get on him without much risk. Because what you do is you get on him here and you start right clicking. First of all, he uses hook, so like there's not a whole lot he can do to you. He's not that dangerous. So you get on the high ground, you start right clicking him in the head, and then even say by some miracle he lands like a really really fat left click on you and you're really weak. You just drop down. You just go boop, and you're down on the ground, and maybe even get this mini over here. And then say he follows you, say he drops, you just climb back up, and he can't follow again, and you're fine. So like there's really not much risk to getting on this Roadhog here, even if he did have hook. Because like say you dash into him, you right click twice, and then you deflect and like you try to deflect the hook, and then he doesn't throw it, okay, then you drop, and then you get back up if he follows. So getting on the hog here is he's an isolated target, so I'd say dashing on him after the Reinhardt would be fine. If this Reinhardt does end up feeding, which it looks like he is imminently about to do with that really weird charge. So yeah, your Ryan had the same idea. He dashed in after him, so looks like he's about to be very dead. And he is. So here I would be getting on the Roadhog next, who's probably still somewhere up there. There are some people on the right, but yeah, so you see they've got teammates over here. You just saw at least 2 of them over here. I know there's one over there somewhere. I think there's another one over here on the corner. But the point is, this Roadhog is very, very alone. His team is very split up. So you can either call for your entire team to basically walk into one of these groups of people that are all split up, or you can just kind of pick somebody who's alone and see if you can bully them, get some ult charge off of them, maybe kill them. So right here you see the Hanzo and the Lucio over there. Your Reinhardt just died to the Genji. So I don't know if I'd be pushing this. This is the only group of people that I've seen. The other ones were alone. Like the Genji over there that killed your Ryan, he was alone. The Roadhog, he was alone. So I'd probably dash on one of the targets that's solo, not one of the ones that's actually got people. So getting on the hog here, but it's a little late at this point. Like their team's collapsing under the point. This seems more or less lost to me. Your Ana has returned. She's healing you. But I'd say probably what you want to do here at this point, because you've lost your Ryan, you've lost your Zarya, your Ashe is 1 HP. I'm pretty sure your Moira... Where is your Moira? Is she dead? Yeah, I think... Let me just... Yeah, your Moira is coming off spawn. So, yeah, your entire team's basically dead, just you, Ana, and a 1 HP Ashe. So what you want to do here is, with your people coming back from spawn, you just want to give up 2 ticks, stay alive as long as you can, and maybe go for a pick if you see somebody vulnerable, like maybe Genji here. Okay, now he backed up, but like you want to give up 2 ticks and then maybe go back in? Maybe not. Okay, no, you're not going in. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what you want to look at here is you have 95 to ult, and your Ana is 75 to nano. So you want to be telling your tanks, hey, take a little bit of damage, let the Ana get her nano, we can nano blade. And basically, you got to be thinking, since you lost that fight that just happened, that the enemy probably is a little bit further along in most of their ults than you, because they did more damage, they killed more people, and they won the fight. So you're thinking, the enemy, Lucio, probably beat me to beat. Well, beat me to ultimate. So like, he probably has beat. So you do have Nano Blade, but they have beat. So what you should be doing is you should dash up, get nanoed, right? And then, sorry. You should find the Lucio, dash up straight above him, get nanoed, and then fall on him as you ult, and as he's casting his ult, you need to kill him. And alternatively, if you're not comfortable with like that being something that you can do, then what you can do instead is you can dash up, get nanoed, fall on the Lucio, and don't ult, and then just try to delete him. And he might just beat. He might just beat and you didn't blade. So then if he doesn't beat, then you can probably kill a Lucio while you're nanoed, but not using your ultimate. And then once you kill him, then you press Q. Alternatively, you can just kill him or try to kill him. And then say he does beat and you're nanoed, you can just kind of get out. And then after he's done, then what I would do instead is I would pop your Moira ult probably. And then your Moira could keep you up during your regular not nanoed blade with her ultimate. So like you wait for the beat to run out, and then you blade, and your Moira ults and just kind of like damages enemies, but also heals you through your entire blade, basically making you very, very hard to kill. So you can just get up in people's faces and just kind of slash the hell out of them. So that's how I would do it. And like if this was like a 6 stack and like me and my friends and like really good like GM players or whatever, or GM game of like I was really comfortable with everyone, like that's probably the kind of strategy that I would be looking to implement. Um, that being said, this is, I'm imagining, solo queue comp, so it's not realistic necessarily for all of that to happen in tandem, but like you can do a lot of that yourself. So like you can dash up and ask for nano, and then like you don't have to press Q if you get nanoed, and then like after that happens, you can say, hey Moira, can you use ult? And then like if Moira sees a critical HP target inside their team, I would imagine she would probably heal you with it, but you never know with Moiras. So anyways, that's a little long-winded here, but that's basically should be your game plan going into this next fight here. You should be trying to get your Nano Blade. You should be thinking about the enemy beat. You should also be thinking about the enemy Roadhog ult, who can be booping you away from the enemy team. It's possible that you just get a dry fight here. Okay, they just used beat like a bunch of Papegas. So basically, now the only thing here that can stop your blade is the Roadhog. You just landed a fat shatter and died. Okay, so I think, am I crazy? Let me check. I am crazy. Okay. So that dash was a little premature, but it's okay. Like, this is still a winnable fight. They used both of the things that counter your blade. They used their beat and they used the Roadhog ult. However, your Ana also used Nano. So I would definitely make sure you get your blade off ASAP here, because you kind of want to keep your blade in sync with your Nano boost. Like, you don't want her to have to sit on it for like a billion years while you are looking for a blade. Or rather, while you're looking to build your blade. So you should use it basically right now so you can try and stay near where your Ana is with her Nano Boost ultimate charge. So I would be going in right now and looking for a blade. What I'd probably do is this Moira is more or less alone, because you just saw, a second ago, you just saw this guy on the flank, right? You just saw him on the flank a second ago. You saw him on the stairs. So that means that their Roadhog, who is the only real thing that can hook you out of your ultimate and kill you, because you're not nanoed, because right there you just saw him, right? You just saw him go on the left, so you go, okay, the Roadhog, which is their only stun, isn't on the cart or anything like that. So basically, what I would do is I would dash straight into this Moira here. I would get healed up. You got healed up, and I see this Moira Lucio on the cart. I would dash at the Moira. That's fine. Dashing up is fine, but usually you want to dash up if you're getting nano, not dash up just for no reason. You know what I mean? Because this kind of just telegraphs your blade. What I would do instead is I'd probably dash straight at the Moira. Like literally, I would right-click melee onto the Moira, and then I would right-click melee Q, which is an animation cancel if you're not aware of it, and then I would slash at her when I'm right on top of her. And this, what this does is it forces her to use her fade. And if she uses her fade and you haven't used your dash yet, you just dash after her and kill her. Whereas right here, say you're like, you just popped your ult in the sky, right? Say you dash to this Moira, right? And then you slash at her. All she has to do is press left shift and she lives and she escapes, and you can't get a dash reset and you've wasted your blade. So you just got to be careful about using your dash on a Moira until after she's used her fade. That's fine. Like, that's fine. You went for the Lucio there. So now I'd probably go for the Moira, because you don't want to go for him because he's kind of hard to track down. But I'm pretty sure the Moira used her fade there right after you went in. So if you look at the Moira here, so we'll go back just a little bit here and just look for her perspective. Okay, so she didn't even have fade. So like 100%, this Moira just kind of walked away, looking kind of strange. Doesn't even realize there's a Genji ulting right next to her. She's having a grand old time. So I think your goal there should have been. I probably would have made my Moira my first priority there is what I would have done because solo Lucio heal tanks is like if you still have a main healer, which you have two of them on your team, like that's kind of like an easy win a lot of the time. So I probably would have gone for the healing output because they would make their Rhine very easy to just dash through a couple times and shoot him in the back and then he's dead. So I would have gone for the Moira there probably after the Lucio. You don't usually want to go for really highly mobile targets like a Blading Genji with your ultimate. The only time you might is if you're nanoed and you think you can like one-shot him, or if you know he's weak and you think you can kill him like before he dashes away or gets a kill. But most of the time it's not worth it. Um, so I would either do it when he's really weak or when he's like the last person alive. I am glad you used your blade there though, because that means you do get to keep yourself more or less in line with your Zarya. 100% we dash gravitons. Every time we see a graviton surge, we dash the shit out of them. So the reason why is, so right here, this is fine, this is fine. Okay, so you see the grab. So your dash has cleave, so say this grab was like a fat grab, like 4 or 5 people, you want to dash it because it cleaves and the dash would hit everybody in the graph. And then you also want to melee it because melee also cleaves and hits everybody in the graph. So you want to do as many dashes and as many melees as you possibly can during a grav. In general, people who are in gravs, you would probably agree, die pretty frequently and they are focused by your team. So if somebody's in a grav, you should dash them because they're probably going to die, which means you're probably going to get another reset. So you just use dashes on people in gravs, just period. So when you see a grav, you should just right click, melee this, like right click dash this Rhine, get him in his face, right click him, melee him, whatever. And if there were more people in the grav, it would be more melees. But the point is, you should use your dash on this guy immediately. Like when you see grav, you should immediately dash through it. Because also like the Rhine's probably going to shield in the grav, so you want to be behind him, not in front of him, because his shield's going to be facing your team, and you want to make it so he can't shield you and your team at the same time. So you dash him behind him, and to do that also you wouldn't be just you're kind of just chilling here, like left click and stuff, which is fine, but like I don't really think it's that good because like you're shooting shield here, and also like you're stationary more or less, standing in front of a grav, so like you would be a lot more evasive here, and I do think that's why you died. So that was, yeah. So I think you wanna be dashing through gravs almost every time. I do think you could have killed the Rhine there because he was antied and he was half HP, and I guarantee you dash him behind and right click him a couple times, you'd have been good. Also, I did notice you were left clicking the Rhine shield there. If you're going for shield break on Genji, which usually you don't because Genji's not the best shield break hero in the game, you do want to be right clicking most of the time, especially if you're close like that, because you just shoot more shurikens faster. It's better for shield break. Shields are a large target. You're not going to miss. So you just want to right click shields. If for some reason you did want to shoot the Rhine from the front, which I don't think you did, you would be right clicking. And alternatively, for shield break, deflect is really good because you can like deflect the entirety of the enemy's damage into their shield for a second, so that's pretty solid. But usually you don't want to be going for that kind of grinding out comp anyways. I see your aimbot activated for just a moment there. That was kind of interesting. Let's just hold up. You were just snapping around there. You were like, boom, aimbot engaged on the Rhine. I see. Nice, nice. I'm going to guess that that's a lag thing. Because I think you said you were lagging in this game, so that's probably a lag thing. Deflect that Moira orb for ult charge is probably what I would have done. You want to be dashing on that Rhine when he gets shattered, because it's a free reset, and you want to help your Rhine or the rest of your team focus down the people that are shattered. So definitely would have dashed on that immediately. McCree has no stun, that means you dash on him. You dash through him. I would have dashed on him, like at his feet. So you went through him and you were way behind him. So like you want to get up in his face when he has no stun. You want to like dash on him, and then you want to right click melee his face, you know, like get in his face. And if you dash through him, yeah, you dashed on him, which is good. But now you're really, really far away, and you're not a hit scan, you know, you're projectile. So like you're not consistent enough with your shurikens to like secure the kill all the time from that range. So like you want to be jumping up and then dashing like at his feet. So McCree's still feeding. Nice, you got a kill on him. I dash on that hog. He has no heal. It's free ult charge. Dash on the Hanzo maybe. Okay, dash on the hog maybe, nice. Okay, I'd be getting out. Okay, go back in, get on the Rhine because he's purpled and help your Rhine finish him, nice. I would have dashed him though. I really haven't been seeing you use your dashes that much. Like, you could be getting a lot more aggressive with your dashes. Most of the time, if you get in a limb, you should have dashed it, probably, most of the time. So I'd be kiting here because you're down, nice, or not down, but they're ulting. So you have Nano Blade again, and you know that they just used beat. So yeah, you said my ultimate's almost ready, so you know they have no beat because they used it last fight, and then now you know they have their hog ult. It's been a while, so you want to be thinking about the hog ult. So if you can see their hog split from their team, or if you can, uh, or if you can just kind of deflect and kill somebody with it, that's fine, but like you want to find somebody split from the team to like get first with your ultimate, because like he could just ult you and push you away, which makes it kind of hard. So I would be looking to dash up here, nice, you get nanoed hopefully, nice. Okay, so that's fine, that's pretty good. So I think this is fine, but I just want to break it down real fast. So you didn't really, okay, you see some people here, right? But like you didn't really do a lot of scouting before this blade, which is what I would like to see. So like right here, where you're backing up and you're thinking, yeah, I want a blade here. They don't have beat. This is great. We have nano. What I think you should be doing is you should instead be climbing up this left wall here. Just climbing up there. And you want to take an aerial view, look down at their team, say, hey, the Moir's here, the Ryan's there, the McCree's there, whatever. Like, you know where everyone is. So that way, like, once you're dashing around and trying to kill everyone, you know where things are, and you don't have to, like, panic and try to find out during your ultimate. Because I didn't think you really took a lot of time to look around here. But, I don't know, maybe you were paying more attention. So that got him, and, like, that's fine. Dashing on that's fine. I'd be climbing up now, probably dash high ground. You heard the hog ulting behind you. That's a clean dash. That was really nice. That was really, really good. Like, I think you should have done a little bit more scouting there, but it did work out. And the hog was not with the team, which is, and you went in on him, which is good. Because like the only thing that could really stop you was the hog ult, which didn't because he was in your backline ulting your team, from what I could hear. So now you got to be thinking about what they're going to be doing next fight. I do see they just swapped Widow. I hear her hook here, so you should be looking up trying to deflect the headshot here. Okay, but you got to be thinking about what they have next fight. They have Shatter. You haven't seen that in a while. Okay, so you, on the other hand, your team has nothing really. You might be getting a grab mid-fight, maybe a Shatter mid-fight. So that's a little careful. Yep, Widow almost killed you there. That's scary. So you just got to listen for the hook here. So right here, you hear the hook? Right there. So it's not that, like, I did see her, but like you gotta listen for the sound cue of the hook, and like when you hear that as Genji, you should be looking up in the skybox to see, can I see the Widow? Is she going for a hook shot? Is she just getting to high ground? Like, what's up? And like when they just swapped to Widow and you hear it in her spawn, she's probably either going for a hook shot like she just did, or she's like going on some weird flank just coming out of spawn. I wouldn't have jumped right there because she might have killed you. You don't know exactly where she was, but it's fine. You should not be pushing up with 50 HP. Nice. Okay, behind the shield. I would dash on the Hanzo maybe there, because he's kind of alone on the high ground. I think you probably dash on that, but that's fine. Flanking here is also fine. So you see a lot of people are burning here. You see the Lucio's burning, the Hanzo's burning, the Roadhog's burning. And the Lucio is right next to the Moira, so I probably wouldn't go on him. I'd probably go on the Hanzo. He's a little bit more on the front line, because the Lucio obviously can heal himself, as well as the Moira, who's right next to him, can heal him. So right here, I'd be dashing on the Hanzo. That's fine. You're out. You don't have to go in. The Ryan's really aggressive. I dash on that. Once again, you're dashing through him instead of onto him. You want to dash straight at his feet and be up in his face, because like you're dashing and then you're gone. You know, like you just get, the only value you're getting out of your dash is the 50 damage you do while you're dashing. That's all you're getting out of it. So like, whereas if you had dashed on him when he's right there, and you would, so you were right here, right? And the Ryan was like right there. If you had jumped up, like double jumped, and then dashed straight down onto him, and then you can continue right clicking him. Say you get weak, you just climb up this wall, you're gone. It's fine. You climb up on the bridge, you're good. But like, and like, if that's the reason you dash through him is because you're like, oh, I want to make sure that like I don't get punished for this dash. You have a wall climb that can help you escape. Also, you're surrounded by healers. Like, you'll be fine. He's in your team. You're not in his team, so I wouldn't be that worried about it. Um, but anyways, I just want to see a little bit more aggression on the dashes here, especially on targets like their Ryan that are really out of position like that. Because I think while you did lose your Ryan here, I think he would have died too had you done it correctly. So he's still like really aggressive here. I think you can still punish this. Okay, I missed you. There we go. Let me go back a second because I misclicked. Anyways, nice dodge on the hook. So that Ryan's feeding again. He's charging. You definitely want to dash on that again. So like right when he lands the pin, that's a perfect time for you to land a good dash on him. So like right here, you see him going for the pin, right? So you should be thinking right where this pin is going to end, because you can see he's going to hit this wall here. So right when the pin lands, you should try to land the fattest right-click dash headshot as you can on him right as he lands. Because right there, he stops moving for a second. You want to be waiting like right here, and then right-click dash right onto his head. Right when he stops, because he's going to stop moving for a second right when that charge ends. So you want to go for the biggest burst damage you can on that. He's very clearly feeding by dashing into your team like this, not dashing, charging into your team like this. So you want to be punishing this hard as hell. So you should be dashing on this guy. And you do get a nice right click off here, but like you could have much more easily gotten a headshot off had you just positioned yourself for one. Even like you don't necessarily need to go for the headshot, but you should definitely be like dashing on this guy because he's very, very clearly feeding. So I think right-click dash would have been what I would have opened with there, and he would be very weak had you done that. Because like you want to right-click dash, right-click melee him, get in his face. So I think you could have probably punished him there. Okay, you did dash on the grab this time, which is good. You want to be focusing the Lucio in the grab if at all possible. Looks like you got hooked here. It's tragic. But okay. So should have dashed that, but whatever. That's fine. So here you're kind of walking around. Like when you did this with the last grab too. You kind of just walked at the grab and like through shurikens. So you want to be jumping a lot during this because like if you're above them, you can land headshots much more easily than below them because like he's a little above you right now. So if you were to like double jump over his head and like right click straight down on him, you're gonna hit a lot of headshots. Because like from right here, like if you notice, you really can't see Ryan's head like at all. And then Lucio's this tiny little thing, whereas from above, I can't really show you right now. Actually, yeah, I can. Hold up. So like if you were a Genji, right, if this camera's you, and like so right here, this is like your view right now is like you're right here, right? But like if you were up, like you double jumped up here, and then like you right click from here, like you're gonna hit a lot more headshots just because his head takes up so much more of your screen. So like you're kind of just walking at him and holding right click. I think you should be doing a lot. Like the dash was good. I'm glad you dashed on this time, but you should be like first of all killing the squishiest target in the grab first, so you can get another dash to dash on the Rhine again. But also you should be trying to make sure you headshot the squishiest target, and you want to jump up in their face and like right click them in the face when you do it. So I think you were kind of like just chilling here. Like you dashed in and then like you just kind of right click and like continue to right click, I think. How many right clicks do you get off? Just one? Maybe just one. I don't know. Yeah, so you right clicked 2 times and then you were going for a third right click and you were just kind of standing there the whole time. So like you are inside their team here, so you should try to be a little bit more evasive with the jumping up and down at least. So like right there, you just watch here, you go 1 right click and then 2 right clicks, you're still standing in front of them, and then you're about to go for the third, the Rhino is now turned towards you, and then you get hooked. So I think like you just got to be a lot more like jumping above and like trying to like be aware that you are still inside the enemy team, because like when you're in a grab, it's still very dangerous to be in the like that close, because like yes, they're all grabbed, but they're still enemies. So like you got to be looking for deflects and other stuff like that. But the Rhine's very weak there. Your team might still win this.
ultimate is
60
charging.
seconds remaining.
My ultimate is charging.
Okay, so you are 85 to Nano and 85 to Blade. So I don't know about that deflect. That was a little weird. So you now have Blade, but you don't have Nano. I think you need to touch here and probably just chill on it. And probably, yeah, I was about to say, when your deflect ends, that's when hogs go for hooks. So right after your deflect is about to end, you need to dash through him. So like you should hold right click as your deflect is ending, and then just right click dash out of your deflect. And a lot of the time they'll throw the hook and miss. So a lot of the time in hogs will throw their hook either directly after they heal themselves or after you use an ability. So like maybe it's because their hook just came off cooldown in those last 2 seconds, or maybe it's because they were just trying to get that off before they threw the hook. But so like they'll either heal and then throw the hook, or you will deflect and then they will throw the hook. So like if you are fighting a hog and you've deflected and he has not thrown hook, you should be thinking he's about to hook me, and I need to be making evasive maneuvers to not be hooked. And your only real evasive maneuver when you're sitting here in the skybox is a dash. So you should have been seeing that coming, I think, but that's okay. I mean, it would have been a pretty Herculean effort for you to stall that much longer. However, I think your team is making a comeback here. Yeah, it looks like they're winning. So luckily they didn't even need Blade or anything. And I think you did stall long enough, so that's good. But yeah, you could have stalled a lot longer, because like when you're fighting a hog, you got to be thinking he's going to be hooking me, so you don't want to deflect too early. You want to like try and get him to do a little damage to him first, and then deflect. If you are forced to deflect early, you want to, if you're still in his LOS when deflect ends, like you can't strafe behind cover, you want to dash immediately somewhere else. Okay, this Hanzo's weak. I would be dashing on that. Okay, he's dead. 10 seconds. Time to use your blade. Kill anybody that is trying to touch. I would imagine they're coming through the left and not the right, but it looks like the Ryan's coming through the right. But usually people would come through the left on the stairs by the Mega because it's a much shorter path to the cart when it's right at the end. So I would probably be watching that a little more closely. However, this Ryan is kind of alone, so I would probably dash on him and kill him. That's an interesting shatter there. Okay. Okay, that's a good blade, but I think your Ana might have died? No, she's here. She doesn't like you. Okay. So that's fine. Decent round there. You played fairly well, but I do think you just need to use your dash a lot more. Like, you were playing very, very poke concentrated, like you were a McCree. So I just think you can be getting a lot more value out of Genji if you're using your dash a lot more effectively. Also, I never really saw you use the high ground that much. You went there like once or twice on the second point. There's a lot of high ground. You can be like dropping on enemies and like engaging without using your dash at all, and then like right clicking them in the face, and then like if you need a dash to escape, you can just dash back up to the high ground, like stuff like that. You never really did that. The only time you really did anything engaging from high ground was when you dashed up for your ultimate, which is fine, but you should try to do it a little bit out of your ultimate as well, not dashing up, but like dropping on top of them from like an elevated surface, because you can climb up and shit and they can't. Okay, so on attack, you guys have the same comp. The enemy does not have a Roadhog, they have a McCree, they also have an Immortality Field, but they do not have a beat drop. So it should be a lot easier for you to get off blades into this comp, I would think. Okay, so I'd probably just even dash on that, to be honest. So like you see, that's a good deflect here. I would have been walking forward to ensure that I did actually get the Moira Orb. I don't know if you did. You might have. I don't think you did. But you want to walk forward to catch as much of that as you can for your ultimate charge. So when you're walking here, focusing the immortality, I really would not put high on the list of things to do here, because immortality field, you want to focus it at times where it's going to save a life. Right here, he threw an immortality when damn near his entire team is full. The only weak target on his team is McCree, and he's not even in the immortality field. The only people in the immortality field right now is full HP tanks, so I wouldn't be worrying about this. But what I do see is this Moira on your right who is alone, and I would probably just dash onto her and try and either force her fade or kill her. Like the instant I see her there alone on the right, I probably would have dashed on it and tried to kill her. And if it didn't work out, then I would probably just back up to the Mega or back up to my healers and it'd be fine. As long as you make sure your dash doesn't bring you too deep. So your Ryan's dead here. I'd probably go for another deflect here for some ult charge. Just kidding, lol, you're dead. Okay. So I probably would have deflected there as I was leaving and see if I could deflect one more thing into my way out. Damn, I see you changed your skin between rounds. That's pretty badass. So I see like this immortality, like it means nothing. You know, like there's no one here. There's no really, it's barely even any reason to destroy it. You know, it's like, who even cares? So like this damage can be better spent getting ult charge on the enemy team. I would probably dash on this Moira again. She's alone on the flank. You're very close to your team. They can help you if you're getting in trouble. So I'd probably dash on her to make sure she just doesn't do whatever she wants. Walking into them is fine here. I'd maybe walk in front of your Rhine shield here and deflect a little bit. That would help your Rhine's shield to take less damage. It would also make their Rhine's shield take more damage. Like deflect is borderline a defense matrix. If you're going to be fighting like this. So if you aren't going to be dashing on this Moira who's on the flank and feeding, you should be trying to like mitigate the damage. And, like if you're playing this poke kind of comp. Okay, so their Moira just died, their Hanzo just died, so you are now up 2. So this means you need to be a lot more aggressive. So I would just dash on this Reinhardt or dash on someone. Like right now your team's focusing the Reinhardt. So I just dash on him. And then I'll probably deflect immediately to try and get rid of the, dodge the stun or whatever from the McCree. But you should be dashing people here. Because I don't think you've dashed yet this game. Just kidding. Nice, you dashed that. Nice, dash that. And you're out. Okay, so that was a really good deflect on the orb. A little bit faster on the reaction to dash the Hanzo. Because, like, basically, once you deflect a Moira orb, you've got somebody diving with you, practically. It's, like, almost like a Winston diving with you. So that's really helpful. So once you deflected the orb, I would have immediately dashed out. So, like, right here. Right there. You immediately turn, and you... like once, because you saw the Moira orb coming, so you should be expecting this. So you immediately, even if this Honda was full, I would dash out into this wall here to stop my dash short. So I would immediately dash out of my deflect, 180, right click melee this Hanzo in the head. He would probably die. If not, the Moira orb would help you finish him in a second. So you did dash on him. It was just a little bit late. And then the second thing that was a little bit that I have a little bit of a problem with. We'll just go slow-mo here. So this is a good dash. So I'm glad you did it. This one here, I also agree with this dash. I just don't like the mechanical, like the way you just performed this dash. Because what you do here is, once again, you dash straight through her all the way into the backline. So instead, what you should have done is you should have dashed at her feet. So if you dash... Oh yeah, this is where Lonzo comes, right? Okay. Okay, so you waited for your deflect to end there, so I wanted you to dash out of it. Okay, but right here, you dash to her feet right here instead of all the way back here. And then you'll be able to kill her. You literally, all you would have needed was a melee, and she was dead, because like she was that weak. So you just need to be making sure that when you're going in, especially because you're going in alone here, right? You need to make sure that you are putting yourself in a position to follow up on your own dashes, because right here, you were 100% stranded. Like, you now are put in a situation where you are 80 HP next to a full HP Baptiste, and it's like, okay, hit this next shuriken or you're dead, basically, right? And then she fades, and you're like, oh shit, like, what do I do? Now I'm 60 HP, and like, I don't have my deflect because I just used it. I don't have my dash because I just used it. And like, you weren't in a good position to follow up on your own kill, and you would have been in a lot less danger if you had been dashing directly to where she was. Because if she'd faded away like she just did, then she's gone. You're not that far from your team, so you can back up like one step. You're with your Reinhardt, it's fine. But here you're in really, really deep, and like, had you not just been healed right there by your Ana, you die here. So that was a nice timed dash, but a mechanically ill-performed dash. So here you dash on the BAP, nice. Dash on the Rhine, nice. Whenever there's a pinned target by your Rhine, you usually want to throw shurikens left click in a straight line at the back of your Rhine right in the center, and hit him as he's pinning them, especially if it's a tank. It'll make sure they actually die. Okay, so you have Nano Blade here. You know for a fact that they still have a Baptiste. So the main things I'd be worried about is High Noon and Baptiste ult. So, and stun, obviously, from McCree. But, not Baptiste ult, sorry, Immortality Field. So, High Noon, if McCree is with his team, not a problem. But if he's playing, like, really split from his team, like, what I would be doing if I was this McCree. So, let's just pretend that this camera's a McCree right now, right? Okay, so they're regrouping. Let me actually find where this McCree is. Okay. So, I'm this McCree, right? I go, okay, they have Blade coming up. He's going to dive my team. So I would go McCree, and I would go inside here, and I would come up here, and I would sit right here and crouch. I would crouch right here. And then my team would come out this door right out here, and then they'd be having a Reinhardt right here doing this thing, and then you would dash up, and you would go, I'm going to kill you all, and then I would step out over here, and I would high noon. Right here. And then you would go, oh shit, and you would look at me and you would deflect. And I would not shoot. I would hold it. And then, 2 seconds later, you would be forced to either dash away from my team, getting no value out of your Nano Blade, or to sit there in the open, your deflect runs out, and I hit left click, and you die. So that's what I would do if that was this McCree. And that's just basically like, I would basically just zone you off my team with my ultimate by playing far enough away from them that you can't dash to me, and I can still zone you out with my high noon. So I would just be making sure that their McCree is with their team, and do make sure that you don't get stunned by them. And other than that, it's not really, like, Immortality is not really a good defense against Nano Blade. So that's just the kind of thing you gotta be thinking about. McCree is dead though, so he can't be doing that. So you don't need to worry about the McCree. So I would go right now, probably. I would say their McCree's dead, which is one of the things that you're worried about, the stun and the high noon stopping your blade. They just threw out Immortality Field just a second ago. You can see it right there. You should go, hey, they have nothing. So you should just take these 5 kills that you can get and end the fight right now with Nano Blade, because they have nothing for you. So I would dash up right here and get Nano and kill them all. Deflect that orb maybe, and then dash up, get Nano. Okay. Okay, nice. That was pretty well performed. I do think you should have been a little bit faster on it. Nice emote, huge, massive. But I do think you should have done a little bit faster there. Dash on that. Okay. Oh, rip. Yeah, I think you guys win anyways. But alright, well, that's GG. Okay, I do think you are a pretty solid Genji. I think that you need to play a lot more aggressive with your dashes, as your main problem is, like, you don't look for opportunities to dash on targets that are out of position. You kind of just play the poke game and get your ult and then kill everyone, which is fine. Like, that's fine. But I think that you would get a lot more value out of the hero in times that you don't have your ultimate if you were dashing targets that are out of position or have overextended with their abilities, and if you punished that with your dashes and looked for those opportunities. Also, you do dash straight through people a whole lot, and if you were to instead dash at their feet, I think you would get a lot more value out of Genji, and you would have a lot less risk associated in your dashes. So if you're looking at, I'm just going to go to the practice range real fast here and show you what I mean. So like, so this, there's a bot that's in the open. Kind of wish I just had one in the open, like standing in the middle of the field. But okay, so say this guy right here is an enemy, right? And you're dashing through him, right? So you go, okay, and you just dash through him, and you don't one-shot him. Say he's still right there, and he's 1 HP, and now you're inside the enemy team, and you're like, shit, I have to hit him with 2 more shurikens or I'm dead. And like, you're far away, so that's tough. So instead, what you should be doing, instead of dashing through him like that, and then you're like not that close, is you should be dashing directly at his feet. So you want to be jumping up, like so you're on even ground with him. So you jump up, dash at his feet, and then you're right up in his shit, right? And then you're like right there, and you can follow him. So you just like jump up and dash at his feet, right? And then like that way you don't go through him, you go at his feet. As opposed to like now you're all the way over here, right? Because you did that a whole lot in your game, is like you were not dashing at his feet, so just a small little hop, and you can aim at the ground. So just like small little hop, aim at the ground, and then you stop the dash short. So it's a very, very simple thing to be doing, but I think it would go a long way towards making you a lot safer in your dashes, and maybe that's the reason why you're so hesitant to go for dashes, is because you die a lot of the time that you do it. So I would say that'll make it a lot easier for you to stay alive. So just like a short dash there, like from a slight elevation. You can still do it without any elevation, definitely, but like you can still just dash like that with no elevation. It just makes it a much larger target if you can see like this, as opposed to this shallower angle here. So I think that's pretty important. I think that would help you a lot. So, and then I think your blades are pretty solid. The only thing is, I think you should think a little bit more about scouting prior to doing your blades. Like most of the time you just kind of dashed up and you were like, okay, and like this right here is all you see of them before you do everything, right? So like, you should try and get in a general idea of where they are before you go in, and then dash up, you know? Okay. I think that's all I wanted to say there. So, nice job.